Vacation vibes all night, all day.
Who starts? You start? I start?
I don't know. Hi, she's Jodi.
And she's Candy. And we go places. And this time we went on a Disney cruise, on the Disney Dream.
Yes, Disney Dream in Europe from Barcelona to Rome, although not exactly Rome, an hour outside of Rome.
They call it Rome on your they call it Rome on the itinerary. But we went on the Disney Dream. However, what we want to know was it Disney Dream or was it a Disney nightmare? A little
You be the judge.
Yeah. So this was our first time on the Disney Dream. We've been on the Magic, we've been on the Wonder, we've been on the Fantasy.
Mhm.
So this time we went on the Disney Dream, which is the sister ship to the Disney Fantasy. Now the Disney Fantasy is my favorite ship. Yours is the Wonder.
My favorite is the Wonder.
Yeah.
Wonder and the Magic I like the best.
So I had some high hopes. I had high hopes for the Disney Dream.
Well, and what's interesting is there seemed to be a consensus of people that were on the ship of it not being their favorite ship, or there was a lot of talk of just a weird vibe. So
it was honestly really interesting because when we got on the ship, you could feel it was a weird vibe. I mean, everybody was really nice. As usual, Disney service is great.
yep.
It just had this really kind of I don't even know how to explain it. I know throughout our cruise, I cried a few times. You cried a few times. People were just not in a good mood sometimes.
We were witnessing other people crying. It was like it was bringing out emotions. It was bringing out, I don't know what it was, but yeah, it seemed to be a theme.
It was like a Twilight Zone thing where it was breaking you down to your raw you. We're on this cruise and we're like pouring our hearts out and crying. And what is going on with this ship? It was
So
like
funny.
a fever dream, maybe. But it was, I mean, it was a Disney cruise. I love Disney cruises. I'm not going to say it was a bad cruise.
Yeah, I agree.
It was
a lot of fun.
It was my least favorite of the four.
100% agree. Yes.
So let's give some reasons why.
Okay. Well, we talked about the vibe. And then another thing, which isn't really having anything to do with the dream, but something that was kind of disappointing is right when we got on the ship, there was a paper in our room and it said, just so you know, on this cruise, pretty much everything is going to have a VAT tax included, which was what, 23%?
It depended on where you were. In some cities, it was 21. In some, it was 18. In some, it depended on where you bought.
I think it went as high as 24%.
Yeah.
But even at sea. So it wasn't even like only in a port, because they don't sell anything in ports on the ship. So on the ship, it was a higher tax, which is fine. I understand you're in Europe. The last time, though, we sailed out of Barcelona. That wasn't the case. The only thing I wish is that there would have been like a little asterisk, a little like, hey, just so you know, there's going to be extra taxes added. And they said some of them you could get back if you saved your receipts, but we didn't go right home. And so it just complicated things. So was it the end of the world? No, but it kind of started it off like, wait, what?
Well, I think part of the reason it was so bad is one, we went on a 2011 cruise just in the Mediterranean, and I don't remember any VAT tax. And I would have remembered that because I bought a lot of stuff.
And then we were there in 2018 out of Barcelona.
And then in 2017 out of Barcelona.
Okay, yeah. So I knew it was not.
But this was why it was so bad. Everybody had a different answer to the questions.
Oh, yes.
So when you're platinum, you get a free Palo dinner worth $50 a person. So they were telling us, but you're going to be charged VAT tax on that free dinner. It's like, wait a minute. So I'm going to be charged 21% on a free dinner. That makes no sense. So that was incorrect. But they told us that we were going to get charged. They told us that you got charged on your coffee. We didn't get charged on the coffee. But what else did they tell us that we were going to get charged VAT tax on besides the free Palo dinner? There was something else that
It
they were
was just, it
saying.
was super confusing and there wasn't. It was
Everybody had a
clarity.
different answer.
And once again, if we knew about it, if there was a little, hey, just so you know, because it's in Europe, great. You know about it and you expect it. So I think that was once again, not the fault of the Disney dream, but the fault of Disney of not at least giving you a little warning. That's my opinion.
And also not having their staff know the answer. Because
Yes.
also, for example, with the free Palo dinner, that's $100. 21% of that would have been $21. So you have to pay $21 on a free meal. Not the end of the world, but then it's not a free meal.
Yeah.
It turns out that it is a free meal. You don't have to. But, and it's not on the whole entire thing. When
Well,
you
in your experience, we don't know. It could be different from time to time because there was no consistency.
right.
So it could have been who was running your
At
you
that
know,
time.
meal. Yeah.
And they also said that you cannot combine your receipts. So if you buy anything less than $50, it's not worth turning in the VAT. So you can't combine your receipts. So buy everything all at once. People were combining their receipts. They just brought them all in at the end and they added them all up. Luckily, I mean, I just had them hold stuff for me throughout the time, and it did lessen what I was going to buy. I didn't spend as much money as I would have because I thought
for me,
it would be.
For me, I was never planning on saving the receipts to turn them in. Just the extra step, trying to figure that out. I was like, not going to do it. So if I'm going to buy something, I'm just going to factor that in. And it absolutely, changed
That's what you bought.
a few of the things that I may have purchased.
Yeah.
Getting back to the things that were good, service was great. Always great service on a Disney cruise. Our wait staff for dinner was amazing.
Yeah.
And I
The
would
head waiter, always. The
room
staff was
attendant.
really good. Room attendant was really
room
good.
attendant was awesome.
Food.
Oh, you're talking about the quality of the food.
Quality of the food.
Worst ever I've experienced, because that's one of the things that keeps us going back. That's one of the things that I know when I'm talking to people about book a Disney cruise, the quality of the food is just amazing. But we were told that on a European cruise that they have to source the food differently. And so they're not obviously getting it from the same places. And so we have people that go with us that love the chicken strips that are served by the pool bar. And this time they were like little hash brown.
They look like the Tyson dino ones, only in a longer strip. They didn't look like they normally do.
Yeah, things didn't taste the same at dinner. Definitely usually I'm finishing things and I want to try things. I was eating like little portion of things. So that was a big disappointment. And you can't really say so when you're filling out a survey, because the wait staff will be held accountable for that. So it's not really fair. Like, great wait staff, great service, but if you say the quality of the food wasn't good, they get blamed. So because you make that connection and you get to know the people, you're like, well, I can't really be honest because I don't want them to get blamed for something that was out of their control. They don't source the food. They can't even control how it's cooked. So,
which the kitchen, the front of the house gets the blame for the back of the house. And the kitchen, like for my son, he kept ordering a steaks medium and they kept coming out very well done. That is not the waiter's fault. And the waiter and the head waiter and the assistant waiter were doing everything to get him the right food. But the interesting thing, they say it's where they source it. But when we went on our Mediterranean cruise in 2011, and when we went on the transatlantic in 2017, the food was fine.
Yeah.
So for some reason, and you would think it's Greece.
Or
Greece has great food.
Maybe it's a post-COVID thing where they're sourcing their food differently. But we were told by a few different people in the wait staff that this has been a continuing problem for a while now, that when the guests come aboard and they're in the Europe and they're used to cruising, somewhere in the United States, that across the board food disappointment. And they're like, we can't get cheddar cheese, or they couldn't get croutons that we're used to. And so
I know a lot of people have been on Facebook groups and Disney groups that I look at. A lot of people have been asking them to please get actually new foods, because their menus, if you've been cruising 10 times or whatever, you have had the same foods over and over again. There really isn't, I think on the Treasure that's coming out, they're going to have a completely different menu, and they've previewed some of the foods, and people are like, why can't you put them on all the ships?
Yeah, part
Because
of the
they
fun,
do.
change it up every now and then. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's like they need to keep it for a while, but not for like 15
I mean,
years.
the nice thing is when you have something you really like my son likes the medallions, the venison medallions that he tried 2 cruises ago and loved them. So he got to have them again on this cruise. You know, when they have stuff that you really like, it's nice to have it. But how many times, like somebody said, the little persets, the pasta persets or portobello persets, whatever, they have them on every single cruise, every single menu, and they're good. But you kind of want something different. So it's not just the kind of monotony of food, but then when they're sourcing it, so it's not even, oh, okay, this is something that I love. It wasn't even that good.
Yeah, it was a bummer. I think we need to book another cruise. We need to do like tried and true wonder and kind of compare and see, is it because of the dream or is it because they're changing altogether? Something that you and I were talking about was just they don't have as many options anymore. And it seems over time, which, you know, is the world, like things are dropping off. Like they used to have the character breakfast included. You could book one. That dropped off. They used to have the chocolate buffet. That dropped off. They used to have the
Princess
pirate
tea.
night buffet. That dropped off.
And the princess tea.
Yeah, the princess tea. And they don't have that anymore. I mean, there were just so many different options that you could be doing different things. And now, and even like we were talking about the movie theater, like they only had a few movies and they were running them, but like at weird times. One of my goals this time was like, I want to see a couple movies, and it just never worked out. Would be during our dining or during our main stage show, you know, same time as that, or like at like 8 in the morning, you know, and it's like, yeah, I don't really want to get up at 7:30 in the morning to go see a movie. So,
and this is not a Disney's fault. This is more of our own thing because we usually book our cruises when kids are in school. This time we booked them when kids are out of school. And so even when a ship is full, when there's not a lot of kids on it, it doesn't seem as full. When there's a lot of kids on it, it was packed. It was packed. But even the 21 and over places, packed.
yes.
Packed. I have not been on a ship. This was my 12th cruise that has been this crowded.
Yeah, we couldn't, like, we'd want to do trivia or we'd want to do different things and we couldn't get in. And so it definitely took away from the fun. So not having as many options.
Yeah.
And
not
then
as many
that
options at
obviously is
all.
going to pack out if they only have a few things going on,
Yep.
then they're going to be overflowing. And so like we really didn't experience, I mean, there was limited, but then it was just kind of like, well, let's just walk around.
There used to be trivia back to back trivia. There was an animation thing this time, and we walked in and it was packed. There was no place to sit. And it's because they weren't offering a lot of things to people. And
Well,
what they did was all
enough, even in Animator's Palette on the night when, you know, they had Crush, Crush didn't even, there was no like Crush interaction with the guests anywhere during in our dining time, you know, and the night that we were in there for that, they had like him kind of swimming around, but he never stopped and interacted, which is part of the fun, you know?
And they didn't have, the communication was horrible. They didn't have fireworks. And nobody
Fireworks,
knew.
I forgot. Look at, I think I blocked that from my memory. Yeah, nobody. Well, even our waiter told us it was going to start, but yes, it was canceled. Nobody knew.
And things were like the sail away party. The sail away party is usually, I'm going to make up a time, 5 o'clock when we sail away. We went to go to the sail away party. There was no sail away party.
Yep.
It was like, I think was there anything at all?
No, I don't think so.
We went up to the pirate night.
Yeah,
there
no
was hardly
fireworks.
anyone
We
there.
were just
Usually
like
when you go, usually when you go, there's no room because everybody's out there. No one's there.
Yeah.
Because
well, there were some people there, but not as packed as normal. So, but there was no to our knowledge, there was no notice on the app. There was no notice left in the room. There was, even when we were out, my son and I were waiting for Jodi, and we asked someone which side are the fireworks on, and they pointed us to the other side. So it was like they didn't say there's no fireworks.
Yeah, the communication was not there.
Yeah.
There was no communication. And so that kind of made it was just, again, it went with the vibe. Like,
Yeah.
no one was speaking, no one knew what was going on. It was just strange.
There was just like a Debbie Downer vibe. And then I think a few nights in, you're like, okay, we're on a Disney cruise. We're here. We're here to have fun. And like, really, yeah, like, what are we going to cry about? But at the same time, it just didn't have that something special.
Yeah. And again, it wasn't just because there were kids too, a lot of kids, because you went into the adults quiet cove cafe area, packed with
Yes.
people. And just everybody, I don't know.
We tried to sunbathe. We're like, okay, you know
Oh, yeah.
what? We haven't seen shows and stuff. Let's go sunbathe. We were walking like packed. You couldn't find a chair to save your life, and just walking. We finally found one, and it was in a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, this is why there's
can't
here.
stay here. But so it was, I mean, yes, we have lots of other cruises to compare it to. This was our first time on this ship. Is it going to be my last time? I don't know. It's moving to the Caribbean. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to try the Wish before then.
Yeah, well, and I would like to try to do another Disney cruise, but the one thing that has kept us going, because it is a little bit more money, is just that
Quality.
extra, the quality. And I don't think this time that it met that. So it's like, maybe we do a different cruise line.
And honestly, even the excursions, we did mainly Disney excursions this time because we thought it was going to be easier because, for example, and this will be another episode, Santorini. We thought we were going to avoid the cable car fiasco and the donkey walk of death fiasco by taking the Disney excursion that was supposed to, we thought, tender us back to the ship, and it didn't. And not only did it not tender us back to the ship, it was late getting there, and it was late getting back, and it was just, I know that's not Disney's fault, but we even did the Disney excursions this time, and that wasn't the best. So it was just, I mean, again, am I going to go on another Disney cruise? Yeah, I'm going to say yeah.
Definitely gonna, and hopefully, it kind of reminds me of the parks. I mean, I've had a Disney, I live very close to Disney, like 5 minutes away. I've had a Disney pass for more than 20 years, and I'm not renewing because just the premium that you pay, it doesn't have what it used to. It's like the magic is kind of left with the crowds and the reservations, and they took away the fast pass, just like the little perks that you used to have. They've taken so many of them away. And same thing with the ship. It's like each time we go, I feel like
there's less and less.
Something more, like not more, something less, something else has been taken away. Now I'm just, because even the food, I was like, the food's the best. And this last time it was like, nope. Okay, they still have the chocolates on the pillows, so.
Those are good. But honestly, thinking about, there are people, and there might be people watching this, maybe there are, hopefully, hi, that'll say, yeah, but that's your privilege going on these things, and you're complaining about being on a cruise. It's like, no, we are privileged to be able to go on this. A lot of people
I feel super lucky. Lucky, but I think we're just kind of the reality. It's like,
but if you pay for something, you expect to get that. Mm-hmm. And when you pay for something because of the quality, and the quality gets less and less and less and less, for someone to say, hey, you're lucky that you can do it, it's like, but I'm doing it because it was good.
I'm not sure I would continue doing it, which is fine too, unless if it's not worth it anymore. And so, it's like, I feel super lucky. I live really close to Disneyland, but
And
Yeah.
people have said, oh my God, you guys are so entitled. When people complain about Disney and the fast passes being gone and you have to pay to go on rides now and stuff. People are like, oh my God, all these people who are so entitled because they have passes. And it's like, I'm sorry, but you're paying money to have something that's supposed to be a better experience.
Yes, like you're paying, and it's not like a woe is me kind of situation. Like, oh, it's like, hey, it's not really worth it anymore.
Right.
That's more what it's about, just the practicality of it.
Like if I pay $1,000 for something, I want the quality to be
Yeah.
at minimum $900 worth of quality.
Yeah, and everybody,
minimum.
like certain people choose to spend their money on expensive clothes or whatever, it's like we like to, as much as we can, have experiences. And so, yeah, my clothes are cheap, but
if they start cutting corners, like you go to a restaurant that you love and they start cutting corners, you get kind of upset. They cut corners, you don't go there anymore.
and then you stop going there. Yeah. So we'll see. It still was we saw a lot of characters. That was one thing.
Yeah.
Wandering around, just kind of walking around.
That we got to stop
Like,
and
let's go pop in and take a picture.
with,
So that was fun. When we weren't getting into the other things, probably because everybody was packed into the different trivia and stuff. So that was something I really like. Anything else? Oh, and I did the walking tour, the Art of the Theme Show, which is on every Disney cruise, and I've always wanted to do it. And it kind of walks you around the ship you're on and gives you the history, when it was built, takes you through different areas, and kind of points out some hidden things that you might not notice. And so to me, that was probably my favorite part of the ship.
And that was also early in the morning. Everything that they did, because we've done a lot of these things that were like reasonable hours because you're on vacation, They had the gold, platinum, pearl reception, which sometimes they're really neat. It was really neat last time with the Frozen experience.
Yes.
I got to see part of Tangled before it came out at one of them. This time they had it at 9:15 in the morning after we had changed our clocks ahead.
Back and no, we lost an hour's sleep. Yeah. So ahead. Yeah. Ahead
so
an
it
hour.
would have been 8:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't want to get up just to go to this reception that they did. It was up on deck. So it was probably like this reception I had been to before, which was just people eating and saying hi. But
fun to do. Yeah. But we both skipped it because it was like, okay, it's like 8:15. I don't want to get up at like 7:30 to go get,
because you have to get up early for all your ports as well.
Yes.
Every excursion was early.
It was definitely a busy cruise in that there were a lot of stops. So
I think I have been looking at Princess for Alaska. I don't think I would do Disney for Alaska.
Yeah.
But
it seems so expensive. So what's your consensus? What do you think? Was it the Disney dream or the Disney nightmare?
It was a Disney bad dream. I'm not going to say nightmare. I thought it was when we first, like the first 3 days, but it was just a bad dream. There were some moments of good in there.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. I don't think I would book. I definitely don't plan on going back to Europe for a cruise. If I'm going to cruise, I think I'm just going to stick closer to home. So we'll see.
But we will let you know, and
wonder where the magic will happen next.
In a fantasy.
Yes.
If you wish, it's a treasure.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. Depends on what your destiny is. Are you ready for an adventure? I got all the ships in there. Look at that.
That was good. She's good.
So next time we're going to talk to you guys about Sicily. When we went to Sicily, we're going to talk to you guys in a separate one about how we almost died in Santorini. Literally, we are not kidding. We were close to death. Mykonos, Athens, Napoli, Naples, and Rome, and Switzerland, and Amsterdam. So we got lots of stuff to share with you guys. So stay tuned. Like, subscribe, share, comment, watch. And hopefully we'll see you real soon.
Vacation vibes all night, all day.